What if I told you the future of electric vehicles just got flipped upside down? Not by Tesla, but by Toyota. In a move no one saw coming, Toyota just unleashed a 13,000 all-electric SUV that matches Tesla's Model Y in features. And crushes it in price. It's not a concept. It's not a rumor. It's real. It's ready. And it's rewriting everything we thought we knew about the EV market. Elon Musk, he's officially on defense. Stay tuned, because what just happened isn't a price drop. It's an industry shockwave. The 13K shockwave, Toyota's bold entry. Nobody saw this coming. Out of nowhere, Toyota just flipped the entire electric vehicle market on its head. The Japanese auto giant dropped the BZ3X, a sleek, fully electric SUV, and priced it at a jaw-dropping $15,000 in select markets. Yes, you heard that right. Not a compact city car, but a full-size EV SUV loaded with features, for less than the cost of a used Corolla. This wasn't a stripped-down, bare-minimum build made to check a regulatory box. No, this was the real deal. Spacious interior, futuristic design, a powerful battery setup, and software that makes it feel closer to a premium vehicle than anything remotely budget. The BZ3X didn't just launch. It landed like a meteor, instantly sending shockwaves across Tesla forums, stock tickers, and dealership floors. Within an hour of the announcement in China, Toyota servers reportedly crashed under the weight of over 10,000 pre-orders. News outlets rushed to break the story. Consumers were already lining up at dealerships, and competitors, they were scrambling to understand what just happened. Because this wasn't just Toyota releasing a new EV, it was Toyota declaring electric war. And suddenly, a question echoed around the industry. How do you compete with that? Toyota didn't just launch a car, they launched a message. EVs aren't just for the tech elite anymore. They're for everyone. And this wasn't some concept car to tease the future. This was the future, and it's already here. Toyota just made the Model Y look like a luxury toy. This is what real disruption looks like. Automotive analyst Jason McNeil. Now you might be thinking, how does Toyota even make money selling a fully loaded EV at this price? That's where it gets even crazier. Because this isn't a pricing mistake, it's a chess move. A calculated, strategic hit designed to reshape the EV battlefield. Toyota isn't looking for short-term wins here. They're going all in on the long game. Strategic sacrifice, selling at a loss. At first glance, the BZ3X's price tag doesn't make sense. How can Toyota sell an electric SUV packed with tech for just $13,000? The answer shocked analysts. They're losing money on every single car. On purpose. This isn't desperation, this is strategy, the kind of move that only a massive, cash-rich company could pull off. Think about it like Amazon selling Kindles at a loss, or Netflix burning billions before it dominated streaming, or Uber sacrificing profitability to own the rideshare game. Toyota's using the same playbook, but with much higher stakes. This isn't about books or shows, it's about the future of transportation. And they're betting big to win it all. While Tesla and other EV makers chase margins to fund innovation, Toyota is bleeding on the front lines and doing it with confidence. Why, Mom? Because they know they can afford the short-term hit. With decades of manufacturing muscle, a global footprint, and rock-solid cash reserves, they can wait out the competition. Tesla, on the other hand, can't lower prices without seriously damaging profits, which makes this a trap. It's a calculated move. Toyota's BZ3X is designed not just to sell well, but to hurt the competition. At this price, Tesla has only two options: match the price and bleed cash, or hold firm and watch customers walk away. And it's already working. Demand for the BZ3X exploded. Dealerships were slammed. And online, Tesla forums filled with worried posts like, "Did I overpay?" and "Is this the beginning of the end?" This isn't a pricing error, it's a Trojan horse. Toyota's not just selling cars, they're setting traps. Tech strategist Maria Khan. So if Toyota's taking a loss, what's the secret sauce behind the BZ3X? How do you build a car that feels high-end, but costs less than half of a Tesla? The answer is buried in the tech, the battery, and the way Toyota builds cars at planetary scale. Let's open the hood and see what really makes this machine tick. Design meets affordability, the BZ3X's features. Let's be honest. When people heard about a $13,000 electric SUV, they didn't expect much. Most figured it would be bare bones, plastic panels, sluggish acceleration, zero features. But when Toyota dropped the specs, people literally gasped. This wasn't a budget box. It was a feature-packed disruptor. Suddenly, a cheap EV didn't feel cheap at all. The BZ3X comes with a 14.6-inch touchscreen, a digital driver display, and an 11-speaker premium audio system. All standard. It includes adaptive cruise control, emergency braking, lane assist, and blind spot monitoring. These are features you'd normally find in a $50,000 car, not something priced like a used sedan. And here's the kicker. Toyota isn't sacrificing quality to make it happen. They pulled this off with a smart three-part strategy. First, they partnered with Guangzhou Automobile Group, GAC, in China, leveraging their expertise in high-volume, low-cost production. That partnership unlocked a faster, cheaper supply chain without compromising reliability. Second, Toyota chose lithium iron phosphate, LFP batteries. They're safer, cheaper, and last longer than traditional lithium-ion batteries, especially in hot climates. Third, Toyota did what Toyota does best: massive-scale manufacturing. They've spent decades perfecting every step of production. Every bolt, every panel, every hour is optimized. No one builds cars more efficiently. So when they decided to go all in on EVs, they already had the infrastructure and muscle to do it better, faster, and cheaper than almost anyone else. And when buyers looked at the BZ3X next to a Tesla Model Y, they didn't just see a better price. They saw better value, same range, more comfort, more features, a brand known for durability, and a price tag that leaves room for 2 vacations. That's when things really started to shift. And that's when Tesla lost its biggest weapon: pricing power. Toyota didn't just undercut Tesla, they redefined what affordable and premium can mean at the same time. Autotech Weekly. Now the question isn't whether Toyota can compete, it's whether Tesla can keep up. Because with pricing power gone and margins under attack, Tesla's not just facing a rival, it's facing an identity crisis. And as we'll see in the next chapters, the cracks are starting to show in the very factories that once gave Tesla its edge. Tesla's dilemma: the day Elon lost pricing power. Tesla was never just about building electric cars. It built a movement. Owning a Tesla was like wearing a badge that said, "I'm driving the future." For years, it sold not just performance, but prestige. A Model Y wasn't just transportation, it was a symbol. But then came the BZ3X, and that illusion snapped. With a starting price less than a third of the Model Y and specs that could compete toe-to-toe, Toyota did something dangerous. It exposed that Tesla's prices weren't high because they had to be. They were high because Tesla could get away with it. But not anymore. Consumers took one look at the BZ3X and started asking the big question: what exactly are we paying for? Tesla's business model is tightly wound around its margins. That means they need to make a good chunk of profit on every car they sell, because it funds their software, battery development, and expansion. If Tesla lowers prices to match Toyota, that margin implodes. If they don't lower prices, they risk bleeding customers. Either way, it's a lose-lose, and the panic is real. Tesla forums filled up with questions. Did I just overpay? Should I have waited? Is this the beginning of the end? What once made Tesla bulletproof, its tech, its brand, its early lead, now feels shaky because the BZ3X didn't just challenge Tesla's price, it attacked the brand from the inside. Pricing power is only power until someone smarter takes it away, and Toyota just did. EV market analyst, Priya Sandhu. But Tesla's problem goes deeper than price tags. Under the hood, behind the shiny apps and clean design, lies the real machinery, the factories, the beating heart of Tesla's empire. And while they were once a symbol of genius-level efficiency, in today's fast-shifting market, they might actually be Tesla's biggest liability. Let's look at what's really happening inside. Tesla's factory fortress is starting to crack. Tesla's gigafactories used to be its biggest flex. Fremont, Shanghai, Berlin. These weren't just car plants. They were monuments to vertical integration. Tesla built everything in-house. Batteries, motors, software, even seats. It was all about control, speed, and innovation. That strategy worked wonders. Until now. Because vertical integration is great, until you need to pivot. Tesla's factories are designed for high-end models. Each one is optimized to crank out specific vehicles, like the Model Y. But here's the problem. They're not flexible. Tesla can't just wave a wand and start producing a $13,000 EV. Retooling those billion-dollar factories? That takes time, money, and pain. Toyota, meanwhile, plays a different game. Instead of doing everything themselves, they partner, outsource, and scale through a global network. Their deal with China's GAC allows them to build efficiently without having to reinvent the wheel. This modular, agile approach is what made the bZ3X possible at such a low price. And it's exactly what Tesla's system can't replicate overnight. So here's the reality. Every day that Toyota ramps up bZ3X production, Tesla falls further behind. Because you can't make a budget EV in a luxury-only factory without cannibalizing your profits. And while Toyota is expanding its lineup, Tesla's stuck between playing catch-up and protecting what's left of its margins. The factory advantage has officially flipped. Tesla's factories were built for speed and dominance, but in a price war, they've become bunkers with no exits. Manufacturing expert Elias Turner. And just when you think Tesla might lean on its last big edge, the legendary supercharger network, another shift is already underway. Governments are stepping in, standards are changing. And Toyota, they've figured out how to win the infrastructure game without building it from scratch. This next chapter, it's about plugs, partnerships, and the crumbling of Tesla's last moat. Charging forward. Tesla's edge is fading fast. For years, the supercharger network was Tesla's crown jewel. Fast, reliable, and everywhere. It gave Tesla drivers peace of mind no one else could match. Owning a Tesla meant never worrying about where to charge. No waiting, no surprises. That network became the moat protecting Tesla's castle. But now, that moat is drying up. Governments in the US and Europe are pushing hard for universal EV charging standards. That means every new EV, including Toyota's bZ3X, will soon be able to use almost any fast-charging station. Tesla's once exclusive superchargers are opening up to other automakers too, due to regulatory pressure and infrastructure deals. The days of Tesla-only perks are ending. At the same time, rivals are catching up fast. In China, BYD is rolling out vast charging networks. In the US, companies like Evigo, ChargePoint, and even Shell are expanding public infrastructure. In Toyota, they're doing what they do best, partnering with the right networks instead of spending billions to build their own. It's smart, fast, and low cost. As charging becomes a level playing field, Tesla's last special advantage is no longer a selling point. It's just standard. And in a market where price and flexibility now matter more than prestige, that's a dangerous place to be. For Tesla, the wall is closing in, and the tools they once used to build it are no longer enough to protect them. Tesla's charging edge was real, but the world caught up faster than anyone expected. EV infrastructure consultant, Ayesha Navarro. So now that price, production, and infrastructure are no longer Tesla's safe zones, what's left? Well, here's where it gets even more real. The dealership advantage. Because while Tesla went sleek and digital, Toyota leaned on something old school. And in today's EV war, old school might just be the comeback king. Dealerships strike back, Toyota's secret weapon. When Tesla ditched dealerships in favor of a sleek, online-only sales model, the world called it revolutionary. No haggling, no pushy salespeople. Just click, pay, and wait for delivery. It felt fresh, especially to tech-savvy buyers. But as electric vehicles hit the mainstream, that ultra-modern model has started to show some serious cracks. The truth is, most people still want human connection, especially when it comes to buying something as big as a car. They want to test drive it, ask questions, and talk to someone face-to-face. And when something goes wrong, they don't want an app. They want a service center down the road. This is where Toyota's massive global dealership network becomes a hidden superpower. Whether you're in a city, a small town, or driving through the middle of nowhere, there's a Toyota dealership nearby. That means instant access to repairs, service, parts, and real support. For first-time EV buyers, aging populations, or customers in emerging markets, this is comfort. It builds trust, and trust sells cars. Tesla, by contrast, still struggles with service reach. Some owners wait weeks for appointments. Others must travel hundreds of miles just for basic repairs. In regions where direct-to-consumer sales are banned, Tesla can't even legally operate without a partner. And they've refused to play that game. Meanwhile, Toyota is building loyalty and relationships at ground level. In a world of digital everything, face-to-face still matters, especially when your 13K EV needs a fix. Retail auto consultant Derek Mahoney. But dealerships are just one front. What's really putting Tesla on edge is that it's not just Toyota coming for them, it's everyone. From BYD in China to Volkswagen in Europe, the EV battlefield is suddenly a three-way war, and each competitor has a different strategy, leaving Tesla stretched thin and playing defense on all sides. A three-front war, Tesla's worst-case scenario. Tesla used to dominate the EV game like a heavyweight champ, unchallenged, unmatched, untouchable. But in 2024, things look very different. Three giant rivals have stepped into the ring, and each one is targeting a different weak spot in Tesla's armor. And the scariest part, they're not just competing, they're winning. In China, BYD has become a juggernaut. Backed by the government, they've mastered battery tech, built a loyal home market, and now they're expanding rapidly. BYD has already passed Tesla in global EV sales, and they're just getting started in Latin America, Southeast Asia, and Africa. Their biggest advantage? Cost-effective production and home field dominance. Meanwhile, in Europe, Volkswagen is throwing down tens of billions of dollars to electrify its fleet. It's slower than Tesla, but methodical. VW isn't starting from scratch. They're repurposing legacy factories, mobilizing their vast dealer network, and leveraging brand trust to win over traditional buyers. They don't need to win flashy headlines. They just need to own Europe. And now, Toyota has entered the battle full force, but with an entirely different weapon: price. While Tesla banks on margin and brand appeal, Toyota is saying, here's a full-size EV SUV for $13,000. Beat that. Suddenly, Tesla is flanked on three sides: tech innovation, BYD, market scale, VW, and unbeatable pricing, Toyota. There's no easy fight left. This isn't competition, it's encirclement. Tesla's rivals aren't coming. They're already here. A strategy analyst, Michael Thorpe. And just when it couldn't get any worse, another domino falls. And it's massive. The gasoline advantage that kept so many buyers clinging to combustion engines, it's gone. Toyota's EV isn't just beating Tesla, it's beating gas too. In price, in performance, and in everyday costs. This isn't just an EV tipping point. This is gasoline's expiration date. Gas cars just got outpriced. Permanently. There was a time when gas-powered cars were the default. You'd save money up front, deal with fuel and maintenance later, and EVs were for tech nerds or rich folks. But not anymore. With Toyota dropping a full-size EV SUV for under $14K, even gas cars look overpriced now. And that flips the whole car buying equation on its head. Let's break it down. A gas SUV at $25K, $30K still costs more than Toyota's BZ3X. before you even add fuel costs, oil changes, or engine repairs. Over a few years, those extra costs stack up. Meanwhile, EVs have lower maintenance, longer brake life thanks to regen braking, and way cheaper fuel. Electricity isn't just cleaner, it's cheaper per mile, period. And here's what's wild. The emotional barrier is collapsing too. For years, people said, EVs are cool, but not for me. Now they're looking at $4 per gallon gas, rising repair bills, and a $13K electric SUV that comes with 0 oil changes and a whisper quiet ride. Suddenly, that old gas car feels like a dumb financial decision. This isn't just economics, it's a perception shift. People are realizing they don't need to go electric someday. They can do it right now and save money while they're at it. For gas vehicles, it's not just a slow decline. It's a collapse in resale value, a drop in demand, and a growing sense that combustion engines are on borrowed time. Gas cars just lost their only real edge, affordability. From here on, it's a downhill ride. Automotive economist Claire Donnelly. So the playing field has changed. Gas cars are no longer the cheap option. Tesla's not the only future. And Toyota? They're leading a revolution. But what happens when businesses, not just individuals, start noticing these numbers? Buckle up, because next we'll dive into the EV fleet frenzy and how Toyota's budget SUV is breaking the commercial market wide open. Fleet frenzy, Toyota's EV hits businesses. Where it counts, for everyday drivers, Toyota's BZ3X is a dream deal. But for businesses and commercial fleet operators, it's an absolute game changer. Think about it. Taxi companies, delivery firms, rideshare platforms. They live and die by cost per mile. And with the BZ3X dropping in at just $13K, those numbers suddenly look a whole lot better. Fuel is one of the biggest costs for any commercial fleet. EVs already beat gas in that department. And now Toyota has slashed the upfront cost too. Combine cheap fueling with fewer oil changes, minimal moving parts, and brake systems that last longer, and what you get is massive savings over time. Fleet operators don't make emotional decisions, they follow the numbers. And now the numbers scream, go electric. Toyota, of course, knew exactly what it was doing. This SUV wasn't just built for families, it was designed with fleets in mind. It's reliable, low maintenance, and packed with just enough tech to be competitive without being overly complicated. And with Toyota's global service network, any breakdown or part replacement can be handled quickly. Another big win for businesses that can't afford downtime. But here's the bigger picture. As fleets switch to EVs, it kickstarts a domino effect. More EVs on the road means more charging stations, more infrastructure, more visibility. And as everyday people see their local delivery vans, taxis, and rideshare cars going electric, it builds trust and momentum. Toyota's fleet play is about scale, and that scale could crush the competition. When you win fleets, you win cities. And Toyota's pricing just made electrifying an entire city fleet a no-brainer. Fleet Logistics Advisor, Raul Menendez. And while businesses are jumping in with both feet, governments are doing something different. They're backpedaling. For years, EV incentives were the key to boosting adoption. But Toyota's aggressive pricing has flipped the script. Now, governments are realizing that it's not about making EVs cheaper, it's about making EVs easier to own. When incentives backfire, governments are rewriting the rulebook. In the early days of EV adoption, the biggest challenge was price. Electric vehicles were expensive, often tens of thousands more than gas cars. So governments stepped in with subsidies, rebates, and tax incentives to help close the gap. It worked. EVs took off. But now, Toyota's BZ3X has made those price gaps vanish, and policymakers are caught off guard. A $13K electric SUV doesn't need a tax credit. It's already cheaper than most gas-powered vehicles. So now countries are rethinking their entire approach. Rather than throwing money at buyers, the focus is shifting toward infrastructure, charging stations, smart grids, and upgrades to handle the coming surge in EV demand. And that's a much more sustainable long-term strategy. This shift also signals a new kind of economic urgency. Countries that once saw EVs as luxury products now recognize them as mainstream essentials. With Toyota setting a global price benchmark, governments are scrambling to ensure their domestic automakers can compete. That means new industrial policies, trade incentives, and even tariffs to protect local jobs. In fact, this is where Toyota's strategy gets geopolitical. Their partnership with China's GAC gives them a low-cost production edge that's hard to beat. Western automakers, many of whom operate in higher-cost environments, are now pressuring their governments to level the playing field. So what started as a pricing move is now reshaping trade policy across the globe. Toyota didn't just disrupt the EV market, it disrupted government policy. It forced the world to rethink what progress looks like. Policy analyst Lin Zhao. So we've seen how Toyota's pricing disrupted fleets and forced governments to rethink incentives. But there's another ripple effect that's already hitting consumers directly, and it's brutal. The resale value of gas-powered vehicles, once considered stable, even dependable, is starting to collapse. And for owners clinging to combustion engines, the timing couldn't be worse. Gas car resale values are crashing. Fast used gas cars were once a smart buy. You'd buy low, maintain well, and resell with minimal loss. But today, that resale market is unraveling. Why? Because buyers no longer want to invest in a technology that feels outdated, expensive to run, and harder to maintain. Especially not when a new EV like the bZ3X starts at just $13K. This isn't just a trend, it's an economic shift. As EV prices drop and infrastructure improves, more people are going electric, and that reduces demand for gas cars, especially used ones. Dealerships are already seeing it. Trade-in values for combustion cars are shrinking. In some markets, they're plummeting by double digits year over year. Why would anyone pay $20K for a 3-year-old gas SUV when they can get a brand new warranty-backed EV with lower operating costs for less? Consumers are doing the math. And when they do, it's clear that holding onto a gas car might cost them more in depreciation than they ever imagined. Toyota didn't just drive EV prices down, they drove the perception of gas-powered value down with it. Suddenly, gas cars feel like flip phones in a smartphone world. Still functional, but clunky, expensive to maintain, and headed toward irrelevance. And the result? A growing group of owners wondering, is it time to switch before my resale value disappears completely? Gas cars are becoming the VHS tapes of the auto world. Useful once, but obsolete now. Used vehicle market analyst Brenda Collier. And now we reach the final and most important question of all. In the face of pricing disruption, infrastructure shifts, falling resale value, and fleet adoption, what does Tesla do next? Because the pressure is no longer coming from one direction. It's coming from every direction. And for Elon Musk, the next 6 months may be the defining test of his career. Elon's biggest test yet: pivot or perish. Tesla changed the world. It made electric cars desirable, cool, and fast. It forced the industry to evolve. But now the disruptor has become the disrupted. And with Toyota's bZ3X breaking the price barrier and reshaping expectations, Tesla faces a brutal fork in the road. There are really only 3 options, and none are easy. First, Tesla can slash prices to stay competitive. But that means bleeding profit margins dry and risking future investments in battery tech, AI, and autonomous driving. Second, it can fast-track a budget EV, something Elon has hinted at, but delivering that quickly without cutting quality is risky. And third, double down on premium positioning, but that might shrink Tesla into a niche as the rest of the world goes mass market. Inside Tesla, reports say there's a real internal debate. Some execs want to protect the brand, keep margins high, and stay focused on tech. Others see the writing on the wall and are pushing for a more affordable option, something that can go toe-to-toe with Toyota in the $20K and under arena. The problem? Tesla's factories aren't built for that kind of pivot. Meanwhile, the world isn't waiting. Consumers are moving on. Fleets are switching over. Governments are adjusting policies. Infrastructure is scaling up. And every week Toyota ships more bZ3X, Tesla loses a little more ground. Elon Musk is still the most influential figure in the EV space, but now his company's future depends not on invention, but on adaptation. Tesla created the revolution. Now it has to survive it. Tech industry insider, Samira Velasquez. So here we are. The EV revolution has hit its tipping point. Toyota dropped a $13,000 bomb that shook every automaker on the planet. Gas is losing its grip. Governments are rewriting the rules. And Elon Musk? He's facing the biggest crossroads of his career. The only question left is what comes next.